Today is a real quick lesson as far as systems goes. Now we're just doing matrices with three variables. We did one of those last week, and it's pretty much the same thing. We'll talk about a couple of word problems and all that stuff. The one thing I want to be sure that we remember is that everything has to be lined up. And so for number one, everything is lined up. We're just going to go row by row here. So we do 2, 3, 2. Remember, we're doing all the coefficients. So -4, 1, -1. And then if we don't have the variable there, then it's just a 0. And that's my A matrix. And then this time, instead of xy, it's xyz, just because we're dealing with three variables. And then I got my B matrix here of 18, 5, and -10. So we'll go into our calculator here, and let's see if I can bring this up all on one screen. So here it is right here. We do second matrix. We go edit, enter. And then I want to change, be sure it's a 3 by 3, so you just do that, and then we're just doing all the coefficients right there. Just every single one of them. Be sure negatives matter here, so be sure that you keep those in check. And then lastly, got all that, boom, boom. So once you got that entered correctly, second quit, then second matrix again. I want to go edit B this time. Instead of a 2 by 1, it's now a 3 by 1. And then I'm going to enter 18, 5, and -10. Once I do that, then I'm going to let the calculator actually do all the work for me. So I'm going to quit out of that, get back to my home screen, then do second matrix. Now I'm going to choose it. I'm done editing, so pick it, and then do -1. Now that's different, so that's to the -1 power. That's the inverse. So be sure you don't press the -1. You do this button. And then second matrix one last time, go down to B. I want the calculator to do all the work for me, and I didn't do something right. So I'm going to go back in and double check that I entered all my stuff incorrectly. So let's see here if I can find my mistake. So 2, yep, there it is. So I need to change that from a 1 to a 3. And let's see, I can make the calculator do it all over again by pressing second entry. Let's see if it gives me pretty answers. Boom, there you go. So 2, 8, and -5. So I'm going to write my answer as 2, 8, and -5, just like that. And that's pretty much the entire lesson, kind of in a nutshell. That's really all you're doing. We can work through one of the word problems, and we'll do one on the back, and then that's pretty much it. It's really straightforward, no real tricks. There is one thing with no solution infinitely many that I do need to talk about. Let's do a word problem first. In geometry, we learned that a triangle has three angles that add up to 180 degrees. So in triangle ABC, ABC equals 180. Then it says B is 2 more than 3 times the measure of A. So 3A plus 2. And lastly, the measure of angle C is 8 more than the angle A. So here, we're just going to be sure that all of our A's, B's, and C's are lined up. They are not, so I'm going to move this over here, also move this one over here. So I'm going to get -3A plus B equals 2, and then A plus C equals 8. Sorry, -A plus C equals 8. This one's good to go, so my matrix is going to be 1, 1, 1 for A, B, C. Boom, there. -3, 1, and 0 for C. And then lastly, -1, 0, and 1, 0 for B this time. So that's my A matrix, X, Y, Z, A, B, C, whatever you want to call it. And then lastly, 180, 2, and 8. Okay? Put that in. That should give you your answer. And then the last thing on the back, before I talk about the special cases, is rewriting. So we're going backwards now. If you look at 11 and 12, they want us to go from the matrix to the equation. I think this is pretty easy. So -x plus 2y equals 2, and then 4x minus 3y equals -8. That's just reading it. That's going back and forth. You're pretty good at it probably by now, so no big deal there. And then 2x minus 3y equals 1, -5x plus 4y equals -1. Okay, the last thing I want to talk about is that if your calculator gives you an error, so let's say that your calculator says, error or dimension error or something like that, that means that it's either infinitely many solutions. That means that the lines, now remember we're dealing with 3 of them, so let me go in here. We got 3 different lines that are exactly the same. So that would mean the equations are exactly the same, so like x plus y plus z equals 2. And then 2x plus 2y plus 2z equals 4, and 4x plus 4y plus 4z equals 8. those are the same because they're all divisible by the same. If I divide all this by 2, divide all this by 2, or sorry, divide this by 4, I'd still get the same answer. So that'd be infinitely many. What about the other case, no solution? That would mean when I have 3 lines that are parallel, they don't intersect at all. That would mean that like something's just barely off. So x plus y plus z equals 2, x minus y plus z equals 2, and maybe negative x plus y plus z equals -2 or something like that. That's going to change something about the equation, and they're going to have the same slopes. That means they're parallel. So it would be no solution. And so what we have to figure out on the graph or on the equations is what we have to figure out by the calculator telling us that it's infinitely many. Sorry, let me try that all again. What we have to figure out by the calculator telling us the error is whether it's infinitely many or no solution. And so that's how we do that. We either look at the equations or solve for y or any of that stuff. Sorry I jumbled that last part up, but hopefully you understood it. See you in tutoring if you need so. Later.